What is going on? Good Friday late night. Back on at 11:05 Eastern Standard Time here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling Wrestle Binge YouTube channel and the Sportskeeda Wrestling Facebook channel. Appreciate everybody who is joining in tonight to talk about 3 hours of jam-packed, pre-taped wrestling action, baby. Yeah. Everybody phoning it in on the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, where we have 3 big pay-per-views this weekend that I'm genuinely looking forward to. Just kind of needed to get through tonight. That's what this felt like, gentlemen. Like, let's just get through tonight, get the necessary steps out of the way, and let's gear up and get ready to go this weekend. That's what tonight felt like to me. Dutch, what did you think about tonight's pre-taped festivities?
Well, I was mad as hell to NBA. If their season can't last long enough to knock this last show of Rampage to a later date so we wouldn't have to cover it, I'm kind of teed off.
Oh, blame Sid's Lakers. They couldn't win one damn game to stretch this out. Maybe 2.
I blame it on LeBron James. He's taking that $1 million and just coasting with it. And then, oh, yeah, I might retire and I might not. Who gives a shit, LeBron's? At least win one game. My God.
$1 million? He makes $1 million off a game.
That's what I'm saying, $1 million, but I don't know how much he makes.
He makes $1 million off breathing. He makes about $38 million a year.
He wakes up in the morning and takes a dump, and he's earned $1 million.
And that's just from his NBA contract. That's not including sneakers, all his endorsements. He has a film company.
Say he's probably still getting.
Well, what I'm saying is, he laid on his $1 million, millions and millions of dollars, and didn't play the game. And
LeBron played fine. It was Anthony Davis who was missing in action.
Oh, don't let him off the hook. LeBron is the
go-to 40
guy.
He dropped 40.
If you're behind, go to him.
What else you want him to do? He dropped 40, and he's almost 40 years old.
Oh, I don't give a crap. I can blame him if I want to.
All right, gentlemen.
I'm in that blaming mood.
It's a team sport, Dutch. I for one blame the entire Lakers organization for the fact that we were on at 11.
I blame you, Dutch, for me having to be here today.
Why?
Because you're the LeBron James of Smack Talk. If you said you didn't want to record today, we didn't have to record today.
No, y'all didn't tell me that. I could have very easily said that because it would have been the truth.
Sid and I both have been working since about 3 this morning, so we really kind of wanted to start our Memorial Day weekend early. But we are here for all of you beautiful, lovely people who are in the chat. Make sure to get your comments in. If you got some super chats, you can send those in as well, and we will get to as many of them as possible. Sid is running the chat tonight, so Sid, if you see anything interesting, just chuck it on up there. Let's start with SmackDown, guys. We're going to run through this kind of quickly tonight. Ozzy, with his customary Dutch, has to get up early tomorrow morning. He ain't.
I am watching Night of Champions.
So I'm sorry.
I'm watching. I'm going to watch it.
You freaking liar.
I'll put it on tape, and then I'll maybe join it third hour.
If it's a third hour, you don't know how long it's going to go.
There's a few matches there I'd like to see.
You just want to see Roman's match. Tell the truth.
I want to see AJ's match. I want to see that match.
Okay.
And I do want to see Roman's match.
Well, you got to watch it live then, because it's going to be the start of the show. AJ's match with Seth Rollins, one of the triple main events. So it's going to open the show.
Yeah, Dutch, I want to ask you about that, right? So
who wants to ask me what?
I want to ask you about the fact that I want to ask you a question.
Brother,
yes, it's my job. I ask you questions and you answer them so the writing people can write articles.
Why are you so aggressive tonight? I came in here in a bad mood to fucking start off with, and then you start in on me. What are you, my old lady or something? My God.
Gee, I'm sitting here trying to breeze through this show. You're the one BS.
That the next time I get married, I'm just going to find a woman I can't stand and give her a house. That's what I'm going to do.
Hey, We appreciate you, Ozzy, for the super chat donations. If you want to hear Dutch Mantell rant and curse, please send another super chat donation. We always appreciate those.
Well, excuse me for my cursing, but
No, I love it. Don't
no,
excuse yourself.
I
Keep it
think
coming.
I'm being attacked by both of y'all. And I'm going to tell you, Sid, you surprised me. I thought we were buddies.
We are
But
buddies. I'm not attacking you.
You're on Rick's side.
No, I'm condoning your cursing and encouraging it. That's what I'm doing.
Well, you sounded like you was on Rick's side, which is a total about face. What is this, a bloodline or what?
Come on. You know I'm always on your side, Dutch.
Okay. But Rick, you have no excuse other than breathing. Okay, let's go. Ask me some questions.
All right. Well, Dutch, this is
I
a pretty
refuse
big.
to answer on the grounds it may be used to incriminate me. I don't have to answer any questions. Hey, I've been watching a lot of that YouTube stuff when they stop guys and they say, "Give me your license." I don't want to. What's your name? I don't answer any questions. I don't know how people get by with that crap. If I did it, they'd bust my windshields out and drag me out, tase me, handcuff me, then beat the crap out of me. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, isn't that called pleading the fifth? You have the right to remain silent. You don't want to say anything that may or may not incriminate yourself.
Well, down south, I don't know if you can get by with that too much, because these cops down south, they hadn't even found cameras yet, unless you record it yourself. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead, Rick.
I already forgot what my damn question was. Let's just dive into the show.
It's about the show.
We'll open up SmackDown tonight. We get Austin Theory versus Sheamus for the United States Championship. Classic Sheamus match here. Hard-hitting affair. I thought it was another great showing for him. Theory picks up the win after pretty deadly attacks Butch and Ridge on the outside. I actually liked this interference a little bit better than your typical, dumb babyface syndrome, distracted spotlight, because at least Sheamus grabs Wilson to give him a move, and he's not just standing there watching the action on the outside and getting distracted. Austin Theory then rolls up Sheamus and gets the win. SP3, this was a much better showcase for Austin Theory than what he has seen on his first 2 weeks of SmackDown so far. Would have been nice to see this from the jump, but I thought this was a pretty good open to the show.
It was kind of, I could have missed it. It was fine. Yeah, pretty deadly. You said it wasn't dumb babyface syndrome, but you're in a United States Championship match. I don't care if my friends are getting jumped on the outside. I'm worried about cashing a check by winning the championship, and then I'll worry about my friends on the outside.
I said as dumb.
Hey, still dumb. Dumb is what dumb does, and that was dumb. And Austin Theory getting the win. Yeah, seems about right. I would have saved this for a bigger show, in my opinion.
Well, we do have this thing called Night of Champions, tomorrow afternoon, and there are a few titles that aren't being defended on this show, which is not traditionally what happens. Dutch, are you in the meh for the opening of the show category as well?
Actually, I'm below that. I'm below that. I'm like a double. It was okay. Dumb finish. I mean, you got the guy pretty deadly out there that they're going to need more than that to get over. My jury is still out on pretty deadly, because they're not big, overpowering guys. They're more irritating than they are anything else. So, and I think Theory is running the thing that the route of they do a lot of guys on SmackDown. They actually put them on too much. And Theory won, but I think fans now, after it's gone off the air, they don't even remember the Theory match. Do you, Sid? Does anything?
Not really. See, I don't know if you were with TNA at this time, but the perfect comparison to Theory's whole United States Championship run, it reminds me of Magnus when he was TNA heavyweight champion. Like, it's a guy who has a lot of potential, but they're trying to have the title make the guy instead of the guy make the title. And that's an issue. That's an issue when it's the U.S. Championship.
What was his name? Magnus what, or just Magnus?
He was just Magnus then. Now he goes by his real name, Nick Aldis.
Well, there's a story about that. We wanted to change his name, but Dixie said, she loved the name. I said, okay, call him Magnus. So he was called Magnus, and you see where it got him.
So, excuse me.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
Dutch, what would you do to try to heat Austin Theory up here then?
Well, I think he's got all the tools, and he's a little irritating bastard too. But the thing is this: if you think about it, they got Pretty Deadly now, and you got Grayson Waller. Is that his name, Waller?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you got 3 British guys trying to basically not do the same, but they're sounding the same. And Theory sounds like them too, except with an American accent. So you got to separate them somewhere. That's
Pretty sure Grayson Waller is Australian.
Well, he still sounds British. I mean, to American people,
Not even close.
No, Australian people and British people sound kind of alike. What's the big chuckle here?
Nothing.
I knew. No, it's because I've been working with you so long, Dutch. I knew you would say that. That's what I was like,
Yeah.
pretty sure he's Australian.
All
right, so we move on to the backstage segment. We got the Bloodline.
I'm writing both y'all up right now. I'm writing you up, Rick.
Oh,
man.
I made that write you up.
Dutch is making me feel happy that I came into work today.
This isn't a record. This isn't a record, but the show is off the rails quicker than it normally is today. Like I think our record's like 2 minutes, but 12 minutes is pretty quick.
Yeah, it was off. It was going south quick.
Sweet Jesus. All right, so we get a backstage segment with the Bloodline. They're all sitting up on the couch. Roman Reigns is talking some trash. Jimmy Uso gets up to leave. Roman Reigns tells him to sit his ass down.
Good segment.
Doesn't. Roman gets in his face, basically begs him to do something.
Yep, do something.
And, ultimately, this was kind of the theme of what we saw. Jey Uso had to step in and kind of keep Jimmy from doing something and get him the hell out of there. And that was just the appetizer. The appetizer for our main event segment tonight, which was the most newsworthy segment on this show, I believe. We had the KO and Sammy show. So the boys come out there. They get a nice big pop. They call out Roman Reigns. Instead, Paul Heyman comes down there. He starts doing his spiel until the Usos music hits. They come down. Kevin Owens is actually happy about this, says that he knew Roman wasn't going to come out. It was the Usos that he really wanted to talk to. And then KO kind of took a different approach than what we've typically seen with him on the mic when it comes to the Bloodline. He proceeds to, one, put over the Usos, but also put over Sami Zayn, saying that everything that he has said about Roman and the Bloodline has been absolutely true. KO calls the Usos the heart of the Bloodline, but says Roman treats them like the appendix, which I thought was a really good line. Jimmy snaps, right? Jimmy snaps. He starts screaming, ends up calling himself the tribal chief of the Usos. He said, when it comes to the ones, I am the tribal chief. And
did you hear the arena?
Yes.
The arena. Oop.
I mean,
he done said it now.
Everybody in that room was right there going, oh, he just fucked up. Like everybody knew he done fucked up. And the look on Paul Heyman's face sold it brilliantly. It was almost like, it wasn't shock and awe, but it was almost like, oh, you're going to die now. Like, why did you do that? Why was this? That was so dumb. And not 2 seconds later does Roman's music hit. And that was the fastest I have seen that man get to the ring in 3 years. He was hot. He is slapping microphones out of everybody's hand. Sami Zayn starts talking to him. He slaps the mic out of his hand. And then the only other face that beat Paul Heyman's in this entire segment was, I don't know if you guys caught it, it was KO. It was very subtle, but he just gets this look on his face like, damn it, I don't want to do this. And he spins Roman around and he gives him the stunner, and the fight is on. Solo comes down. He's throwing spikes to everybody. Eventually the Bloodline stands tall, and Roman is sitting there holding up all 4 championships to close out the show. There was a lot of little stuff to like in this. There was, obviously the tension between the Bloodline is still going there. The Usos aren't supposed to be in Saudi Arabia. I got a feeling maybe they're going to get involved in the main event if that does end up being one of the main events tomorrow. But Dutch, there was a lot to like with the Bloodline again tonight.
Well, you didn't mention it, but there was a little bit of tension between Sammy and KO too.
There has been, yeah.
Got it. I got this. I got this. I got this. And it was quick, but there was a little bit there. So they still, I mean, I will still say this thing, to have the after effects that they have now after dropping those titles and now within the group, masterful story, and they've taken their time. Now maybe they'll learn something. They can take their time with every story if they just go deep enough. But these guys they did it perfect. And I really enjoyed that segment. I really did. And Solo, they're making him a killer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when he shows up, these people laid out. So they stood at the end with their arms in the air, holding the figure 1 up. And who stood off to the side? Was that Jimmy?
Jimmy. Because Rick didn't mention at the end of the beatdown, they had Jay gave a set of the titles to Solo, and then Jimmy had a set of the title, and then he kept looking at it, and he refused to give it to Roman, and Jay had to basically pull the titles from him and then hand it to Roman, and then Roman took the set from Solo and was holding all 4 titles to end the show, while everybody had their ones up, and Jimmy's in the corner just looking at everybody, looking bitter.
Great story. And that's the show basically.
Yeah, SP3, it does. Sammy and Kevin Owens, even though they have been heavily involved in the Bloodline storyline and they are the tag team champions, they feel more like pawns in this story at this point, though. It's definitely more Roman, Solo, and the Usos at this point, which makes me believe the Usos are going to get involved somewhere tomorrow afternoon and ultimately cost Roman and Solo the match, which may set up a match between those 4 at Money in the Bank.
Well, I wouldn't say they're just like props or outliers to this, because they are the pot stirrers. They've been stirring the pot with this whole Bloodline thing, with dedicating the matchup to the Usos, with KO kind of saying what he felt like Sami Zayn's been right all along, but he was really trying to go Jimmy, because he saw that Jimmy was on the edge. He was trying to goat Jimmy into saying something that would be disparaging towards Roman, and he got what he wanted. Yep. And eventually it leads to the whole big brawl. So I thought that segment was really good. Honestly, I wasn't too big on the backstage segment, because whether people realize it or not, or remember or not, we've already seen Roman and Jimmy at odds. If y'all remember, when Jimmy came back in May 2021, he was at odds with Roman. You had Jay in the middle of that already, where he was the person who was trying to convince Jimmy to acknowledge Roman as the tribal chief and join up with what they were already doing and be a part of the Bloodline. We already did that. So I felt like the backstage segment was just kind of more of the same. We're trying to get to a point in this story where both Usos are like done with Roman. I think that would be very different, because we've had instances where Jay was against Roman. We've had instances already where Jimmy was against Roman. We haven't had the instance where both Usos were just fed up with Roman Reigns. And I think that's when the story will really get to where it was before WrestleMania. It feels like we're still on the climb up. We're not at that peak that we were. It went down a real large amount in the 6 weeks that Roman was away, and they're trying to get back up with Roman there. It always helps when the main character is there. When the main character is not there, you don't want to watch the show anymore. It's like beyond, like I said, it was like Hit Row without Swerve Strickland. It's like Beyonce without it's like Destiny Child without Beyonce. It's In Sync without Justin Timberlake. It does not work the same way. You need the main character to be there for it to be an effective story. And it's getting back up, but it's not at that peak yet. We need both Usos to be against Roman, and I hope that comes through what happens tomorrow at Night of Champions.
It may come to a head next week during the 1,000-day celebration, which was announced on the show tonight, that they will celebrate Roman Reigns, who will hit 1,000 days tomorrow as WWE Universal Champion. Yes, Dutch.
So what do you expect to happen tomorrow with Roman and Sammy and Kevin?
I do expect Sammy and Kevin to retain. And I think, again, the Usos are going to play a role. Iron Meds VR saying here in the chat that didn't Heyman say the Usos are not going to be at Night of Champions. Roman told them to stay away. But if you noticed over the last couple of weeks, they ain't listening to what Roman has telling them to do. So that ain't a guarantee of anything. Roman told them to stay home, but that don't mean that they ain't going to be there and show up and try to do something.
Roman also told them to go home tonight, and they wound up in the main event segment. Roman also told them that he wanted to tell something to Sami last week, and they got involved and jumped Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. So Paul Heyman or Roman Reigns saying that the Usos are not going to be at Night of Champions is not a guarantee. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see the Usos, but that would make the finish to this match a little bit more difficult, unless it's Roman Reigns and Solo winning just outright clean, which I think is the worst decision they could possibly make with this whole match.
Yeah, them winning clean, that don't help them.
Yeah, I don't think their tag team title run is going to last all that long. As Dutch mentioned, there's already we've seen some friction between them. They're brothers who argue all the time. They're not on the same page about much, right? Other than, hey, when the bell rings, let's go and do our thing. That's really when they're on the same page. But for their story, this is their opportunity to finally get just one over on Roman. They're going to pin Solo to do it. But them finally getting one over on Roman and then starting something with pick a team on Raw. Hell, pick a team on SmackDown. Somebody different. There's a lot of guys, a lot of teams waiting in the wings right now. They need to get this one over on Roman. I think the Usos are going to be there. I'm not saying they're going to turn on Roman and Solo tomorrow, but they're going to be there, and their presence is going to be why the Bloodline loses that match tomorrow afternoon. We did have a women's tag team title, not tag team title, but a tag team match tonight. Raquel and her new old partner, Shotzi, defeat Damage Control after a really weird finish. When I read the spoilers, they said miscommunication between Damage Control. That was a miscommunication between everybody. I don't know what happened there, but I will say this much, and maybe it's just me reading into it. I thought this was a good showing for Shotzi tonight. Like, I thought she looked more comfortable in this match than any other time that I've seen her on SmackDown. Did anybody else see that, notice that in Shotzi's performance tonight, or am I just hunting for something? Crickets. All right, just me.
Yeah, I did not see that. I thought Io Sky was good during the match because she's always good, but like you said, the finish was just so weird, and that's the lasting thing that I'll probably remember from this match.
And it usually is, for very, very good reason. We did, after that, get some hype packages for the World Heavyweight Championship match. I'll ask you, Dutch, this is one of the ones you're looking forward to. AJ Styles, Seth Rollins. It's going to be a banger, almost certified guaranteed. Who do you want to see win? tomorrow?
Well, I think they'll probably put it on Seth, but again, I don't know what they're going to do, but they could put it on AJ for a short title run, have Seth take it. A lot of ways they can do this, but they will have a banger. So whatever they do, they'll have a great match.
We've talked about this ad nauseum, SP3. From a logistical standpoint, I don't see how they put the title on AJ Styles at all, even for a short period of time, if they wanted to do some kind of unpredictable finish. Because if he wins it, he goes over to Raw. That's the stipulation. Then what do you do with the rest of the OC, which was taken off of television while he was hurt, and now that he's back, you're going to separate them and leave them over on SmackDown? I don't see that happening. I think this kind of telegraphs who's going to win tomorrow, because just from a logistical standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I think it's his time, man. He has been the ultimate company guy for so long and has been the understudy to Roman Reigns for years now at this point. I think you got to go ahead and crown him. It's going to be obvious, but it's going to be a great match.
Yeah, it's going to be a great match regardless.
After hearing that, I agree with you, Rick. I keep forgetting he goes back to Raw.
Yeah.
It confuses me. Don't confuse me. I mean, I'm just a fan.
Dutch.
Going to Raw. Well, hell, why didn't you say so?
Dutch, I mean, come on. There are SmackDown superstars fighting for the Raw exclusive title. What's not to understand?
Oh man, don't get me started on the worst. We heard I'm gonna pull a Dutch and I'm just gonna skip to something else that pissed me off on this damn show. That Bianca Belair segment was one of the worst things I've seen on this show in quite some time. I don't know if it was a mixture of the promo, which was badly worded because they don't want to address the fact that the Raw Women's Champion is on this show. I don't know whether it was their little brawl, which did not look good at all, despite them having a great match at WrestleMania. But I do know that the main part that I hated about this was how much the volume was up on the piped in cheers and boos. My Lord, I have never seen a segment that had more obvious piped in cheers and boos than that segment. One of the worst things I've seen on SmackDown in this year in 2023 so far.
Literally the Sorry,
go ahead. I don't know who wrote it. And she delivered it badly too. I mean, you take a bad written promo and then deliver it poorly, it gets worse, and then you're so far down that rabbit hole you can't come out of it.
It almost looked like she was expecting an actual reaction from the crowd and didn't get one. It's hard to tell what the actual reaction from the crowd was outside of the first three rows who were not moving while she was talking, which made it even more abundantly obvious that that stuff was piped in. I have no idea what Bianca said. I have no clue. I have no idea because all I could focus on was the crowd noise. It was that bad. I said 2 weeks ago that I tend not to notice the crowd noise as much as other people do because I'm sitting here and I'm writing notes and I'm looking up and down and I'm not focusing so much on the actual audience themselves. But like I'm sitting here trying to take notes and all of a sudden I could hear how loud and fake it was from the jump. And I'm fixated on the screen. What?
We can't use the F word here.
Oh, fuck.
Can't use it. That's offensive.
It's like gotta edit that out. But yeah, it was just really bad. Like Dutch said, I don't know who wrote it, but they need to get suspended. I don't want anybody to get fired, but they need to go in timeout or something. Like, dude, I understand that this was taped. I understand this was taped after last week, but she literally said in the promo that the mist has made her hand she can't clean off her hand. I understand that was the mist from last week because they filmed it the same night, but you expect me to believe 7 days worth of showers couldn't wipe off your hands? Get the hell up out of here. Get the hell up out of
that
here,
hot pepper oil, man, you never know what it's gonna do to you, right? Like,
Come on.
it's just so bad.
But her eyes were clear.
And
hands were stained, eyes were.
Well, she didn't get it in the eyes last week. But
so bad. It's so bad. The Bianca Belair deserves so much better. I've never seen a title reign in WWE that's been this long and just been devoid of really consistently quality feuds. Ever since she stopped feuding with Becky Lynch, it's been a law of diminishing returns with her feuds. They've either been one-sided or not very good.
Yeah, she beat the Joker. She beat the Joker and has now been, beating the eggheads and the Banes of the world, the lesser quality matchups, shall we say, as far as a storyline standpoint. But the analogy I'm trying to make there.
You know who SmackDown missed tonight badly?
Who?
Gunther. Gunther. They missed him. I missed him. And when it all goes to hell in a handbasket, send Gunther out there to beat the shit out of somebody.
I feel like Dutch is going to say this for like a full year until they decide to redraft Gunther to SmackDown.
that may actually get Dutch to watch Monday Night Raw, is so he could tune in to see Gunther. Got a super chat from Roland Curtis. Appreciate it as always, sir. To contrast with Dutch's point, the WWE made Solo look strong the most, but they purposely weakened Solo slightly with Roman by having Solo easily hand his set of tag team titles over to Roman without Roman demanding it. Look, Solo's a good soldier, man. I think that's all it is, right? And you saw last week when Roman bumped into Solo, there was something there. He was like, I don't want to F with you, man. You're a worthy opponent for me.
Let me tell Roland something. Roland, next time you make a dissenting comment, it's going to cost you $19.99. So remember that.
But
now, Roland, I'm challenging you. I don't just name the time. I'll meet you on the street. Any city, it don't matter.
But
I'll have Sportskeeda fly.
Oh yeah, good luck with that. But like I understand what Roland is saying, but there's also this point of Roman. You can tell Roman looks at Solo and says, "Okay, you're a worthy competitor, right? Like I don't need you on my bad side." He thinks he can whoop both of the Usos by himself. He thinks he can whoop both of their asses, and the lack of respect shows that. He has respect for Solo, and Solo, though, is the good soldier. He was sent there by the elders to do Roman Reigns' bidding and protect Roman Reigns, so he's just doing his job when he hands over those tag team titles because he knows it ain't about me. I don't get paid for it to be about me. I get paid for it to be about Roman Reigns, and that's where he's at right now.
But good story. I'm enjoying it.
Yes. Eventually, it will be Solo's time. And they're doing a damn good job building him up. Another quick night's work for Cameron Grimes. He beats Ashante the Adonis in a couple of minutes. At least we got to see a bit more of his offense tonight. Say that again.
To the moon.
Uh-huh.
I don't get it. I don't get it. At all. To the moon. The hell is that?
What did you just flip off, Dutch?
To the moon. What the hell? To the bar would be better.
It's because he's saying it with zero charisma to it. There was a charisma to it when he was saying it before.
Zero charisma. He don't have that much. I mean, this guy's a great worker, but his character is going to need a lot of work too.
I think they
that
just
happy Homer damn riding the back of the hay wagon type character. I don't know if it's going to catch on today.
I think it would be a home run if they just let him off the leash and let him do what he did in NXT. Because what
I
he
bet
did,
the same writer wrote his interview that wrote Bianca Belair's. Same writer.
yeah, Steven Chambers need Grimes back when he was rich in NXT. Yeah, when he was playing Jed Clampett down there in NXT, he was freaking brilliant, and they did some fantastic stuff between him and LA Knight. Yes, Dutch.
Why did he change? Huh?
They wanted him to. They basically at last year ahead of WrestleMania tried to make him a more serious character so he could win his first title in NXT, but they never took him back to what worked, what got him over in the first place. They thought that was the move that would get him ready for the main roster, but it's been a step back. And it's not been 2 steps back to save 3 steps forward. It's just been 2 steps back.
And another thing that pissed me off about this angle, as soon as Corbin attacked him from the back, they were gone. They were gone right away. And I said, well, damn, that's disrespectful as hell. They started something, but so that means they don't expect a lot from it, and I don't blame them. But at least give it a chance. They didn't even give it a chance.
I mean, I don't know what more Grimes can do with Baron Corbin. He already embarrassed him and beat him in like 4.5 seconds. Like, you hit him, like, how do you have a 50-50 match between those two after that? Like,
well, but you're going to have it, so
yeah,
you better get used to it. You're going to get it. And by God, Rick, you're going to get it too. Because they've already called me and they said, you tell that Rick to stop shitting on us every week. And I'm about tired of it too, Rick.
Well, let's talk about somebody.
I
can't talk at all without you interrupting me tonight. Damn.
See how aggressive he is, Sid. You don't need to work so much. You need to take some time off.
I just want to finish the sentence. I just want to finish
go ahead. Rick, if we were on a trip right now, I'd pull over at the next rest area and we'd settle it. But I've seen that done several times too.
This is great.
Well, all right. LA Knight beats Rick Boogs in a match tonight. Rick Boogs is a strong son of a gun, man. LA Knight is no small dude, and he's just absolutely getting ragdolled in this match. Quick match tonight. Knight does connect with the BFT, gets the win. So, yes, LA Knight wins a match. Great. Hopefully, Rick Boogs is out of his life now. Then he gets on the microphone because the Street Profits are on the on commentary for this match. And I didn't write down exactly what he said, but it was something about he would make change out of both of you $5 bills or something like that. And then he said that they were going to get smoked instead of get the smoke. Very good LA Knight promo. But then WWE had to go and do something that makes me simultaneously happy and simultaneously pissed off. Next week on SmackDown, we are getting a Money in the Bank qualifying match between Montez Ford and LA Knight. You motherfuckers. You're going to sit here and give me that match, which is great, but you're going to make it a Money in the Bank qualifying match, which means one of these two dudes has to lose when they should both be in that effing ladder match, and you're going to make me choose between them. It's going to be LA Knight that wins, but damn. Like,
he's the one that should be in it.
Yeah.
He should be in it. Montez Ford will be in many of Money in the Banks in years to come, but they still have him in a tag team. Since they still wanted to have him in a tag team, he should not be in Money in the Bank right now, because all you did when you put him in Elimination Chamber is make people want to see him on his own, and then you put him back in a tag team. So don't do it again. Learn from your mistakes.
Okay, what is the hold up on this guy? What do you think?
On LA Knight? Or excuse me, on Montez? I genuinely
Hey, that guy's got it. That Montez Ford, he has it.
Everybody's been saying it for 3 years. I feel like for 3 years, everybody's been saying the same thing. Like, hey, when Montez gets his singles run, man, this is going to be great. When Montez gets his singles run, he's going to be great. He's got all the tools. He's just going to explode. The dude has doubled in size in the last year and a half, like getting ready for this massive singles push that just never seems to materialize. And it's not like the Street Profits have been heavily utilized in the last year and a half in the tag team division. So I genuinely have no idea what they're waiting on. But it does seem that LA Knight's push is finally upon us. At least we would think so. They did the
You hope so.
You would hope so. Look, they did the Night of Champions press conference today, right? And they had stable of stars there. While Triple H was talking, the crowd just erupted in an LA Knight chant. Like literally, just he wasn't involved in the press conference. The crowd just busted out in an LA Knight chant. The dude is over. The dude is good at what he does. Hopefully it doesn't go unnoticed. Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions, comments, concerns regarding AJ Styles versus Karrion Kross tonight? Real quick.
Well, we do have a super chat donation here. I guess this is a question for Dutch Mantell. Young Reckless, thank you so much for the super chat donation. Asks, who do you think will dethrone Roman Reigns, Dutch?
For the single title?
For the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. It's 1,000 days, ladies and gentlemen. We are mere minutes away.
13 minutes away, yes.
Well, he wants to take time off, and he wants to go here and go there. I don't see a chance he can take it off yet. I don't see where he's going. As far as who's going to take it off of him, it's not going to be Sami Zayn, I don't think. Not going to be Kevin Owens, I don't think. Probably the closest one would be Cody Rhodes, but he's on Raw now, right?
Yep.
So now we got to wait 8 months for that to roll around.
Unless.
Gunther. That would be a hell of a matchup.
Oh, it
I
would.
knew you were going to say that.
I think Gunther is going to beat Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania next year. That would be my guess.
Hey,
or
Boogs could do it.
Boogs is a big, strong, some gun.
This is another thing that irritates the shit out of me. He took LA Knight, was going to give him a bill, and he put his hand right here under his. I hate that. Have you ever taken a bill, Rick, in your extensive time in the ring?
Maybe once or twice, yeah.
Where'd they put their arm?
Dude.
In your armpit?
I can't remember what I had for breakfast, like let alone what happened, 2 years ago in wrestling training, the one time I took something. I'm sure it was done wrong.
See, he has dementia, and he only spent like 2 months in the ring.
18, and it would have been much longer, but I got back problems. The only thing, Dutch, that could allow Cody between now and WrestleMania season to challenge Roman is if he wins Money in the Bank. If he wins Money in the Bank and they allow Money in the Bank to be utilized like they have in the past, he could challenge any champion that he wants at any time. So he could conceivably win Money in the Bank, call a shot at, say, SummerSlam and challenge Roman Reigns and beat him there. But I think they're going to have Cody go through his mountain of adversity for another 8 months and somehow find a way to get back to WrestleMania. Cody at this point is still my pick to beat Roman, but there's a lot of time between.
He has to struggle, and he has to go against the grain and hard times. He's got to do his hard times, and it'll pay off.
They once said, "Hard times make better men." Better men. Speaking of adversity and adversity, Cody Rhodes, Dutch, who do you think Cody Rhodes will overcome a broken arm to defeat Brock Lesnar at Afternoon of Champions tomorrow?
Good question. But he could. See, there's ways to beat these big monsters without killing them. Didn't he beat him before? He beat Brock.
Yeah, but he didn't do it with a broken arm. Like, are they really gonna have Cody go full on John Cena and beat Brock Lesnar with a broken arm? Doesn't that kill Brock Lesnar?
Didn't he just beat Brock Lesnar like a month ago?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Brock
but he
roll
did
up.
it. He did it with 2 good arms, and he barely did it.
This is
Well,
part
I
of
don't know.
this is part of the reason why I
I
still
hope
think
the writer that handles this match, not the same one that wrote Bianca Belair interview. Maybe they'll get a different one. Maybe Triple H himself will get involved in this. Because they better watch Brock. Brock has a tendency to say, nope, not doing it. I'm just not doing it. And he could get up and next thing they know, he's in Lithuania somewhere and they can't find him. What do you think, Rick? Rick's taking that in. He's thinking, what the F did he say? What's he even talking about? But I think Cody will win. Go ahead, Rick.
I'm just waiting for a point
now
where you.
He's boycotting us now.
No, I'm just waiting for you to shut the hell up. That's what I'm doing. I'm waiting.
We got a super chat donation here from Raleigh Curtis. Raleigh Curtis says,
I'm zipping it up right now.
The LA Nightline about making change out of $5 was the classic line by Nino Brown in New Jack City. Good shout, which is a classic movie in the Black American community. No, it's just a classic movie in general. Street Profits understood perfectly. Yes, they did. They did. I agree with all of these things.
You hear me?
Nino Brown is one of the greatest anti-heroes in American cinema history. That's all I have to say. And and Rick, what do you think about New Jack City and Nino Brown?
To be honest, I'm a little ashamed to admit I haven't seen it. So
get this man out of here.
I have seen a lot of classics. I have not seen that one. I'll have to get that one on my list. But
I'm gonna give you.
That was a very young Chris Rock that was in that movie, wasn't it?
Yes, it has a classic moment in the movie where Chris Rock tries to get a rib, get one rib, not multiple ribs. But
real quick, my one thought on Cody here, real quick, right? This is part of the reason why I still believe highly that Cody Rhodes is going to be the guy who beats Roman Reigns. We now live in a world where WWE actively gave Cody Rhodes an out, an excuse, a reason to lose to Brock Lesnar, other than he just lost to Brock Lesnar, right? They broke Cody's arm so he could lose to Brock Lesnar and still keep him strong. That's how highly they regard Cody Rhodes right now, which is why I think Brock is winning tomorrow, but Cody's still the guy to beat Roman.
Yeah, I would be really shocked if Cody won with a broken arm, because it's just like, why would you do that to Brock Lesnar?
Unless Brock wants to do it. If Brock wants to put him over, if this was Brock's idea, they'll go with it.
Yeah.
Right? So, who knows? Yeah. Any questions, comments, concerns on AJ Styles and Karrion Kross tonight, gentlemen?
Nah, it was a match.
I'm not saying anything.
It was solid. Solid as a rock.
I will say it is, for Karrion Kross fans, the fact that he is now losing frequently.
What's that?
You can read into it, but I don't read anything good about it. I mean, contrary to what some may say, wins and losses in booking matters. He loses to Shinsuke Nakamura before he goes over to Raw. Now he's the tune-up match for AJ Styles against Seth Rollins. I mean, I got high hopes for Karrion Kross, but it's not looking great right now. It ain't looking great. That was SmackDown, gentlemen.
That was it.
It seems like they're pushing Grayson Waller is going to be higher up on the pecking order than Karrion Kross, which, man, For a guy who debuted in a segment with Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns, my, how the mighty have fallen.
I agree.
All right, so a couple of housekeeping notes here. Again, it's a big weekend for all of professional wrestling. We got 2 WWE pay-per-views this weekend, and of course, AEW's Double or Nothing is this coming Sunday night, going head-to-head against NXT Battleground. But SP3 looks like we got 2 more matches that have been set up tonight, right? So the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, they beat Roosh and Vance and Dralistico. Competitive match. Max wins it with the mic drop. Bowens then gets on the mic and drops a really good line about how the house may always win in Vegas, but you never bet on black. Fantastic tease line. It looks like they're going to be going after the trios titles against House of Black in an open challenge on Sunday. And then we get your boy tonight, SP3. Hardys need a new partner. Ego and the Asses say they'll take him on 3-on-2. And all of a sudden, here comes Hook. And now that matchup has been set for Double or Nothing. So it looks like Ego, he's going to end up Matt Hardy's bitch now.
I need them to now call that team of the Guns and Ethan Page, Ego and the Asses. That sounds like a cartoon. Ego in the Asses. A cartoon on Adult Swim, but still a cartoon. Yes, I'm happy Hook is going to be on the show, even if it's on the buy-in. And I said this on a couple of previews that I did this week, that they needed to add a buy-in matchup. I know that they've been trying to keep the pay-per-views relatively small with the number of matches. Revolution had 8 matches because they had a 60-minute Iron Man match in the main event. Now this card has 9 matches on the main card, and when you only have 5 to 6 pay-per-views a year, I'm totally fine with 9 matches on the main card because it makes it worth the money that people want to see. And adding House of Black, who have been pushed more as trios champions on this card, I think was needed. On this show they should have just officially said, because it was pretty obvious with Anthony Bowen's promo, that it's going to be the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus House of Black, but they should have made it scissoring is allowed.
Lastly, this weekend, gentlemen, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Jamie Hayter, who is legitimately injured right now. We got a better idea of what that injury may be as her shoulder after she was attacked, right? So there was a tag team match tonight. Dr. Britt Baker and Sheeta defeat Nyla and Marina. I really do, sidebar, like that team of Dr. Baker and Sheeta. I think there could be something there in the future. But after that match is over, Jamie Hayter is attacked backstage by the Outcasts, and she has got her left shoulder highly taped. Whether that's the actual injury or they're just going with, hey, left shoulder, sell it, who knows? But it may be her shoulder, it may not be. We do know via reports she's legitimately hurt. She could not compete very, very recently. Sean Rossap from Fightful.com put out not a report, but I would say a highly educated guess that there could be some change happening this weekend regarding the women's division. He said things might be looking categorically different within the next 5 days. He said that on Wednesday night. So it looks like Jamie Hayter may be dropping the women's championship this weekend if she can even wrestle. This women's title, it would suck, right, if somebody had to drop it again due to an injury if they weren't medically cleared to compete. If you're doing an attack angle on Jamie Hayter, though, SP3, I don't know. Does she compete? Do they throw in there for a quick match? It seems like kind of there's an avenue where it's gonna be a loss either way you go on something like this.
Yeah, I don't know if Jamie Hayter is gonna compete, which is sad because I thought she can have a great match even injured, but shoulder injuries are different. I think Dutch can tell us, like, if you know of anybody from your time wrestling or your time working backstage that have worked with like an injured shoulder, a seriously injured shoulder, is it wise to do that, or do you think maybe she would be at the point to just do it because it's already as injured as it's gonna be?
Yeah, there's guys that they've worked with broken arms. Tom Pritchard worked 3 days with a broken leg. He knew it was hurt. He didn't know to the extent of it. But he worked for, I don't know, 2 or 3 days before they checked and they said, you know, your leg's broken. What? But guys, they used to work hurt. That's why they learned to work. They learned to work. They learned timing. They learned placement. They learned all that stuff to protect whatever was hurt. But yeah, guys, they have worked hurt before. But I don't know if they've worked with a broken shoulder. According to how bad I don't know anything about a shoulder. My shoulder's never been hurt. Arms kind of was jammed up. But the shoulders, I'm always, been lucky with my shoulders. Not my knees either, but that's the story for the other day.
Just from personal experience, the first time I ever took a flapjack, took it wrong, separated my right shoulder instantly, and yeah, I couldn't do shit. I mean, I don't know, again, the severity of her injury, how long she's had it, how she's been dealing with it. I am nowhere near the level of some of these competitors, like what Becky Lynch did at SummerSlam, where she completely separated her shoulder 3 minutes into the match and then went on to wrestle for 15 more minutes without a drop in quality, is some top level badass shit, right? Like, so I don't know how severe she's hurt, but if there is any kind of risk for her to go out there, Dutch, and injure herself further, especially, I see Steven Chambers in the chat here saying Hayter should somehow retain her and Saraya at All In. Yes, you want Jamie Hayter to be at that Wembley Stadium show, no doubt about it. So why do you risk it and put her in the ring on Sunday? Yeah. If there's any chance that she could hurt herself, even worse. Wouldn't it be, look, it's a shit situation. We'll take the title off of you. You get rested and ready to go, and you can win it back in the UK in Wembley Stadium.
Exactly.
That would be a better angle.
That's the better thing to do. And Tony Storm can hold it down, and I think Tony Storm would be a good person to put the title on. She had her run as interim women's world champion and got retroactively made the official women's world champion, but she never had a run as the official women's world champion. So let her get that run. It can be a short matchup, and then they can have a new challenger, someone coming back, come out and face her afterwards if they want to give the fans something else on the show. But Jamie Hayter, you need to get her healthy, because she's like the top star from the UK that you want to get on All In.
What Sid said, I agree with him. Great analysis, Sid. Great.
Try my best.
Even done it better myself.
Well, we'll all find out what happens this Sunday night. SP3, what you got going on True Heel Heat this weekend?
Check out True Hill Heat 227 tomorrow morning, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time. It'll be myself, Miss Christy Love, Top Guy JJ will be returning to the show, and we'll be joined by special guest Richard Benson, aka Benno of the Grapple Podcast and Post Wrestling. And check out all the great stuff I've done this week. We did previews on True Hill Heat for AEW Double or Nothing, for WWE United Champions, for NXT Battleground, on Twitch, twitch.tv/True Hill Heat Gaming. We did previews for Impact Under Siege. That was tonight. Stardom Flashing Champions, which is tomorrow. Check out all that stuff, and check out another channel I believe you should check out if you spell believe a different way. That's great stuff as well, where we did prediction shows for Night of Champions and Double or Nothing.
For those asking in the chat about Liv Morgan, there's, as far as I've seen, no official timeline of her return. She does have a shoulder injury, legitimately hurt. That's why she had to drop the tag team titles with Raquel. Dakota Kai did tear her ACL in that exact match, so she's going to be out for a while. Mercedes Moné dislocated or broke her ankle, excuse me, in her match against Willow. There is something in the air. All right, so
Mark Davis of Aussie Open, he had a meniscus tear. He just had surgery where they had to give up the tag team titles in New Japan. Will Ospreay is working with the injured shoulder right now, so hopefully he can stay intact so we can get Ospreay and Omega 2 at Forbidden Door. It's been a very bad injury bug in wrestling right now currently.
Do not take a risk with Jamie Hayter. There's some bad juju going on out there.
All these we need to text everybody and say, guys, it's a work. Please stop getting hurt. If they go out there and do all this crazy stuff, oh, God, I'm hurt. Well, see, that crap didn't happen back in our work because, see, these guys, they get hurt, they get paid. If we got hurt, guess what? We didn't get paid most of the time.
I'll go out there and do something. I don't care if I got 2 broken legs. I'll just go out there and headbutt some motherfuckers.
You know who never got hurt? Honky Tonk Man. Or you'd get his arm, he said, whoa, 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 lighten up, lighten up. And Austin Idol he was the world's worst. Austin Idol, hey, whoa, whoa. Even with a snug headlock, he'd say, hey, what the hell, I owe you money?
All right, guys. Follow us all on social media at Rick Uchhino, at Dirty D Mantell, at True Heel SP3, as you see spelled at the bottom of your screens. That is it for us. We'll be back next week after SmackDown and potentially Rampage. Who knows what time that sucker's going to be on.
One question before we go.
Yes?
Rick, you feel, since you got all that aggression out on me and Sid.
Hang on. You cut out.
You feel better?
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
No, I said, do you feel better?
No.
Do you feel better?
No, not at all. I really want Sid to end the show right now. Then I'll feel much better. Then my workday will be over.
One last question for Dutch.
Well,
Who you got winning at AEW Double or Nothing, the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club?
Who do I have winning?
Yeah.
It's a flip 'em.
Well, he's
I'll
actually
say the
not wrong.
Elite.
There we go.
Is this for the time?
No, it's a 4-on-4. 4-on-4. Anarchy in the arena.
The Elite.
I thought when you said it's a flip 'em, you were going to flip the bird again. You could do that as we close off the show.
Okay, it's a flip 'em.
We'll see you guys. Have a great
everybody.
Memorial Day weekend.
We're going to change
Bye
this
now.
show to Dutch in the asses.